Alfred's Fury. A glimpse into a warmer future. The name Alfred will be remembered for years to come, not just as a storm, but as a harbinger of the changes our planet is undergoing. Ex-tropical cyclone. Alfred left a trail of destruction in its wake. Homes were destroyed. Communities were devastated. The sheer power of the storm was unlike anything seen in recent memory, leaving many to wonder about the future. This powerful storm was a stark reminder of nature's raw force. The waves crashed with an intensity that seemed almost apocalyptic, uprooting trees and scattering debris far and wide. It also served as a powerful wake-up call. Residents, once complacent, now found themselves face to face with the reality of climate change. Emergency workers, seasoned by years of experience, were taken aback by the scale of the damage. Alfred's intensity is directly linked to our changing climate. As ice caps melt and sea levels rise, the conditions for such powerful storms become more favorable. The science is clear, and the evidence is all around us. We are witnessing the consequences of a warming world. Flooded streets, once a rare occurrence, are now becoming commonplace. Heat waves, droughts, and wildfires are more frequent and more severe. These consequences are no longer theoretical, they are happening now. People are dealing with the aftermath of these events, struggling to rebuild their lives and communities. The increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events are undeniable. Graphs and data show a clear upward trend, and news clips from around the world highlight the growing crisis. Alfred was a taste of what's to come if we fail to act. The devastation it caused is a preview of the future we face if we do not take immediate and decisive action. It is a glimpse into a future where such events become the norm. Cities are already preparing for the worst, but preparation alone is not enough. We must address the root causes of climate change. We must heed this warning and take immediate action. Climate activists are calling for change, and renewable energy sources like wind turbines and solar panels offer a path forward. Our planet depends on it. The choices we make today will determine the future of our world. By taking action now, we can ensure a healthier, more sustainable planet for future generations. The science is clear. Warmer oceans, stronger storms. The science behind climate change is crystal clear. Greenhouse gas emissions, primarily from human activities, are trapping heat in our atmosphere. This trapped heat is warming our planet, and the effects are particularly pronounced in our oceans. Warmer oceans provide more energy for tropical cyclones. Think of it like a pot of water on a stove. As the water heats up, it begins to bubble and steam. Similarly, warmer ocean temperatures fuel the formation and intensification of cyclones. These warmer waters act as fuel, leading to stronger winds, heavier rainfall, and more destructive storm surges. The link between a warming climate and more intense cyclones is undeniable. Rising tides, drowning coastlines. Adding to the destructive power of cyclones is the issue of rising sea levels. Global warming is causing glaciers and ice sheets to melt at an alarming rate, adding more water to our oceans. This, combined with the thermal expansion of water as it warms, is causing sea levels to rise steadily. Higher sea levels mean that storm surges, those walls of water pushed ashore by cyclones, are now even more dangerous. What was once a manageable flood now becomes a catastrophic inundation. Coastal communities are particularly vulnerable to this double threat of more intense cyclones and rising seas. The combination is a recipe for disaster. We must act now to mitigate these risks and protect our vulnerable populations. Australia on fire, a land transformed. The landscape of this vast continent has been dramatically altered by the relentless forces of nature. Australia is a land of extremes. From its arid deserts to lush rainforests, the country is a tapestry of diverse ecosystems. It is no stranger to droughts, floods, and bushfires. These natural events have shaped the land and the lives of its inhabitants for centuries. However, in recent years, the intensity and frequency of these events have reached unprecedented levels. The changing climate has exacerbated these natural disasters, making them more severe and more frequent. The devastating bushfires of 2019 to 2020 scorched millions of hectares, killing wildlife and displacing communities. The fires left a trail of destruction with countless homes lost and ecosystems devastated. These fires were fueled by a combination of factors including prolonged drought and record-breaking temperatures, both linked to climate change. The dry conditions created a perfect storm for the fires to ignite and spread rapidly. These fires were a wake-up call for Australia and the world. They highlighted the urgent need for action to address climate change and its impacts. They demonstrated the interconnectedness of climate change impacts. The fires were not an isolated event, but part of a larger pattern of extreme weather events linked to global warming. Drought conditions create tinderbox-like environments, while rising temperatures increase the likelihood of ignition and the intensity of fires. The combination of these factors makes bushfires more devastating and harder to control. Australia is on the front lines of climate change, experiencing its effects firsthand. The country's unique position makes it a critical case study for understanding and addressing the global climate crisis. As the world watches, Australia must adapt and innovate to protect its land and people from the growing threat of climate change. Section 5. From Denial to Action, the urgency of now. In this critical moment, we must confront the reality of our situation and move beyond mere awareness to tangible, impactful action. Despite the overwhelming scientific evidence, climate change denial persists in some circles. This denial is not just a minor inconvenience, it is a significant barrier to progress. Some individuals, often motivated by political or economic interests, continue to deny the reality of human-induced climate change. These interests are deeply entrenched and have a powerful influence on public opinion and policy. Figures like Donald Trump have publicly questioned the science, sowing seeds of doubt and delaying crucial action. This skepticism has far-reaching consequences, affecting not just national policies but also international efforts to combat climate change. This denial is dangerous and irresponsible. The impacts of climate change are already being felt around the world. From devastating hurricanes and floods to the loss of biodiversity and the displacement of communities. We cannot afford to ignore the overwhelming consensus of the scientific community. The data is clear, and the warnings have been consistent for decades. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the leading international body for the assessment of climate change, has stated unequivocally that human activities are the dominant cause of observed warming since the mid-20th century. Their reports are comprehensive, peer-reviewed, and represent the collective understanding of thousands of scientists worldwide. The evidence is clear. The time for debate is over, and the time for action is now. We must transition to renewable energy sources, implement sustainable practices, and support policies that reduce carbon emissions. The future of our planet depends on the actions we take today. Let us not wait until it is too late to make a difference. Section 6. The Global Chorus. United by Science. The good news is that the world is waking up to the climate crisis. Millions of people around the globe are demanding action, led by a new generation of activists who understand the urgency of the situation. Governments are implementing policies to reduce emissions and transition to cleaner energy sources. Businesses are investing in sustainable practices. There is a growing global movement for change. From international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord to local community initiatives, people are coming together to address this challenge. We are seeing a shift in mindset, a recognition that we are all in this together. This collective action is our best hope for a sustainable future. Section 7. Empowering change, your role in the climate solution. The fight against climate change requires a collective and united effort. Each of us has a crucial role to play in creating a more sustainable future. We can make conscious choices in our daily lives to significantly reduce our carbon footprint. Simple actions like using public transport, conserving energy at home, and reducing our overall consumption can make a big difference. We can also use our voices to demand urgent action from our leaders. Support policies that promote renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable practices. Hold our elected officials accountable for their actions on climate change. Every voice matters, and together we can create a powerful and lasting force for change. Section 8. A future worth fighting for. The challenges posed by climate change are significant, but they are not insurmountable with our efforts. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the collective will to create a more sustainable future for everyone. A future where extreme weather events like ex-tropical Cyclone Alfred are less frequent and less severe. A future where our planet thrives and future generations can inherit a healthy and vibrant Earth. The time for action is now, not later. Let us choose hope over despair, action over inaction, and together let us build a future worthy of our children and grandchildren.